Hello, welcome to our 10th segment on Our Texas Organic Garden. My name is Kelly, and this is for spring 2018. The last time I saw you was in January, right before we had a really bad 3-day freeze. And I was telling you how to prevent your plants from getting destroyed in sub-freezing weather. However, a lot of what I tried didn't work. It would normally work when there's 2 or 3 hours of freeze a night, but we had 20-something hours of freeze in 3 days. So most of what I had didn't make it. But look what I did. We used to have eggplants here, if you remember. Now I have okra seeds. Okra seed are there. I replanted the peppers. We had peppers here. I added some pineapple plants I had grown from the top from a supermarket in the back, and a bougainvillea here just to make it a little more colorful. If you come back around here, you'll see the sorrel is doing quite nicely. It survived the freeze. I covered up the artichokes, and the artichokes survived. So this artichoke's doing fine. Here's some Okinawan spinach. I cut them all the way back for the freeze, and as you see, after covering them and putting hay around them, they're thriving already again. Also down in here you'll see a lot of red onions I planted, and a couple of celeries. We have that perennial wild asparagus has come back. I had to replant the Cuban oregano. This has been here for several years, this collard green. It survived the freeze. These artichokes I planted, and they also survived. I put a trash can around them and also lots of hay. I'm very impressed with these potatoes. If you look here, this is the potato bed. I alternate between radish and potatoes here. The radish all died in the freeze. It was really terrible, the Korean radish, daikon. But I have 4 varieties of heirloom potatoes here. They're doing very well. And I also have some purple TP beans here that got a little crowded out by the potatoes that are along this one fence here. They're going to be coming along soon. If you look over here, the carrots, they survived the freeze. And the greens back here did, although you see some of the kale and broccoli got attacked by aphids pretty badly when the weather warmed up. You'll also see here that these broccoli are coming to seed now, and we're going to go ahead and collect these seeds. Down below, I decided for once this bed usually gets a lot of water and things die in it. Too many plants have died because of too much water standing. So this time I decided on squash and zucchini. So far so good, seems to be doing quite well. We also put some more of the Humong cucumber here, seeds from our seeds. And then I have some red beets here. I forgot the exact heirloom name from them. You can email me if you want. These beets are also doing quite well. The thing is, this year, compared to other years, we don't have any plants really available right now to eat except for the greens. And so what we're doing before, we had peppers and potatoes and tomatoes. All of those were ready now, but they're about 6 weeks behind because of the bad weather. I had big carrots and beets in the middle of March the last 2 years. But it looks like this carrot's ready. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. Yeah, this is an heirloom variety. So one of the ones that's rounded. We also have celery here, as you see. What I put in starters, these are Thai long beans. They're going to be beans that are about 1 foot long, and the plant grows about 4 feet tall. The seeds, I let them sprout here, and then I'm going to put them in this bed here along the fence. These are the Goya, the bitter melon. We also got seeds from our seeds. I'm going to put them, as I usually do, over on that fence where the berries are. As you look here, you can see a row of the Okinawan spinach. They survived the freeze. I cut them all the way back and covered them, as well as more himong cucumber and wild asparagus. What is taken over here, are all this mint. We have peppermint and spearmint here that was just a little bit before the winter, and now in the springtime it's completely taken over, crowding out a little of this shiso, the Japanese basil that had reseeded. So we might add a few more shiso in the back there by seeds. And as you see, more heirloom tomatoes that I planted here and also over there. In the empty space in the back, I'm going to plant eggplants there this year. Eggplants are not available yet. If you come around here, you'll see Swiss chard has been amazing so far this year. We have 4 Swiss chard, and we've been very lucky with them. I put some oregano down here, and then this is a red leaf lettuce. I tried it for once this year. Really nice, decorative, tastes really nice. And regarding tomatoes, I wanted to show you a couple of things today. One is you want to just have 1 or 2 main stems coming up on the tomato. If you have any more, you should cut them. And I couldn't work in the garden for about 7 or 10 days because of bad weather. When I came back, I had to cut some of these, but look what happened. I put them in some water and roots. So I'm going to replant these that I cut. You can try it. Cut off these longer stems. Usually they should be towards the bottom of the plant. And instead of throwing them away, try to replant them. I have several here I'm going to replant in the next week. Another thing to look at, and I've mentioned this before, if you come over closer, you'll see where the branch V's, there's going to be a 3rd stem that develops. Go ahead and pick these. You can just use your fingernail and pick it. And this way, you don't have the plants growing so out of control. It's better just to have as few stems as possible. And if you go on, we have, as you notice, we have so many of these wild blackberries. The fence has gotten really crowded with them. We should have berries in a few more weeks. Down below, Moroccan garlic is doing quite nicely. A couple of the Goya bitter melon have reseeded down there. I'm going to put more behind them to grow up higher on this wall, this fence. And our giant rosemary is doing very well as usual. And here, lots of the collard that's been here a few years. We planted some kale. It also survived the winter. All of these survived. It's kind of gotten taken over by berries right now, but I'm going to let the berries develop, and then afterwards I'll cut them back. And over here are the yellow onions. And it's the first time I tried onions in this bed, and I think it's the most successful thing that's grown in this bed. It's always a trial and error, hit or miss, determining what's going to grow and what isn't somewhere. We used to have all the sweet potato vines. The cold weather knocked out all but 2, just here and back there. If you come on around, you'll see another big pot there of the Okinawan spinach. I put that in the garage, and so didn't freeze. And more of the Moroccan garlic, and I planted some different varieties of peppers here as well. And as usual, the moonflowers that have come up from our own seed that'll go up here as a decoration. And so that's going to do it this time for our gardening series. I hope to see you at the summer, and take care. Here's to happy gardening.